Hip-hop woke up to chaos this week after fans noticed something strange buried deep inside the game's new project. At first, nobody wanted to believe it. After all, the game has always claimed to respect Kendrick Lamar. He shouted him out, stood beside him, and even helped uplift Compton's new generation decades into his own career. But suddenly, out of nowhere, there were whispers online, serious whispers, suggesting that the game may have taken an unexpected shot at Kendrick on this new project. And once a few lines started circulating, social media exploded. People were replaying the track over and over, looking for clues, decoding bars, and asking what nobody ever expected to ask. Did the game really diss Kendrick Lamar? What began as a tiny Reddit thread escalated into a full cultural storm within hours. Fans were shocked, analysts were confused, and even old-school West Coast commentators were pointing out how uncharacteristically bold some of the lyrics sounded. Whether real or imagined, the tension was undeniable. And the craziest part? This rumor comes at a time when Kendrick Lamar is sitting at the peak of cultural influence, fresh off a legendary tour, dominating headlines, and receiving praise from across the industry. So if this really is a diss, even a subtle one, the timing is unbelievable. Before we go further, support me by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. It helps a lot. To understand why this rumor feels so surprising, you have to look back at the game's relationship with Kendrick Lamar. For years, the game positioned himself as one of the biggest supporters of Kendrick's rise. When Kendrick was still emerging, the game would name-drop him, celebrate him, and even tell radio hosts that K. was the new king of the coast. They weren't best friends, but there was always a sense of mutual respect, an unspoken bond between two Compton heavyweights from different eras. The game even praised Kendrick during the height of the Drake beef, telling people publicly that Kendrick raps on a level that most artists could never reach. And Kendrick, in return, showed Game the kind of reverence he usually reserves for legends, a quiet acknowledgement without theatrics. So all of this makes the recent suspicion even more confusing. What could possibly cause a shift like this? And why now? Did the game really decide to poke at someone as dominant as Kendrick at the height of his influence? Or is this all one giant misunderstanding being inflated by fans hungry for another West Coast storyline? So here's where things get messy. The game didn't name Kendrick directly. He never does unless he's praising him. But there are a few bars scattered across the project that fans are interpreting as covert shots. Lines about fake prophets sitting on another man's throne. Bars about rappers who ain't outside unless the camera's on. And the most controversial one, a subtle jab hinting that some Compton rappers forget who cleared the lane before they merged. That line alone has the entire West Coast fanbase in a chokehold. Is the game talking about Kendrick? Is he just speaking generally? Or is he referencing something deeper, something we don't yet know? Hip-hop has a long tradition of subliminals, coded bars, and double layers of meaning, something the game is famous for. He knows exactly how to stir the pot without naming names. And now fans are pushing every bar under a microscope, searching for confirmation that this is, in fact, a jab at Kendrick Lamar. As soon as the lyrics went viral, all hell broke loose online. Half the internet was convinced the game finally snapped and decided to take a swing at Kendrick. The other half argued that people were reaching because of how culturally massive Kendrick is right now. TikTok analysts started posting side-by-side breakdowns. Twitter was on fire. Reddit threads turned into full-on dissertations. And YouTube reaction channels scrambled to upload videos decoding every bar on repeat. Some fans pointed out the game's long history of name-dropping and stirring controversy, claiming this could easily be another case of Game intentionally blurring the line between respect and rivalry. Others insisted that Kendrick has never done anything to provoke the game, and that a diss would be completely out of character. But the loudest camp argued something even more interesting, that the game might be feeling overlooked in the new era of West Coast dominance, especially as Kendrick builds an entire cultural empire around his name. What makes all of this even more intense is the timing. Kendrick Lamar is in the middle of what many are calling one of the greatest artistic runs of the decade. His grand national tour sold out stadiums worldwide. His performances broke viewing records. His narrative world-building has fans treating every clue like sacred scripture. And his cultural weight right now is unmatched across music, culture, and analysis. Meanwhile, The Game is in a different phase of his career. Still respected, still talented, still an icon, but operating outside the mainstream spotlight. When an artist in that position drops subliminals, whether intentional or not, people pay attention. This could either be a genuine critique of Kendrick's new direction, or a strategic moment to ride the wave of Kendrick's global energy. Either way, the timing is too perfect to ignore. Something is happening here, and fans know it. Here's the part nobody is discussing loudly yet. For decades, The Game represented the voice of West Coast hardcore rap. He was the modern torchbearer after legends like Snoop, Dre, and Cube started shifting into elder statesman roles. But Kendrick Lamar represents a new kind of West Coast dominance, one rooted in storytelling, global influence, album artistry, and cultural leadership. These two energies have always coexisted peacefully. But in hip-hop, eras shift quietly, and then suddenly. Some fans think The Game might be expressing frustration with how quickly people turn the page on him, treating Kendrick like the sole symbol of Compton's identity. Whether he meant it or not, some of the bars reflect a tension that has been quietly building for years. The passing of the torch is rarely clean. Behind the scenes, insiders are already whispering. Some say The Game feels overshadowed. Others claim he has no problem with Kendrick at all. A few insiders pointed out that The Game has always been competitive, almost aggressively so, and that his pen is naturally pointed. They argue that even if the bar wasn't aimed at Kendrick, it was intentionally crafted to sound like it could be. A couple of West Coast producers even suggested that The Game might be teasing a storyline, knowing fans love speculation. Meanwhile, people in Kendrick's camp are reportedly unbothered, not dismissive, but calm. Kendrick rarely responds to subliminals unless they're from someone with real momentum. And right now, Kendrick is in such a dominant position that a response would be unnecessary. But that silence only adds to the tension. To understand the situation, you have to understand The Game's personality. He loves rap tension. He loves lyrical confrontation. He loves feeling like the underdog pushing back against the culture. And he has a long history of towing the line between genuine respect and calculated chaos. He knows how to spark debate without committing to a side. It's part of what keeps him relevant. The Game thrives on moments like this. He understands the art of ambiguity. And whether fans think this is a diss or not, the conversation alone gives his project more visibility. The Game is a strategist, always has been. Let's be honest, Kendrick Lamar sees everything. He pays attention to the culture more closely than people think. And you can bet he saw the discussions within hours. Kendrick doesn't respond publicly, but that doesn't mean he's unaware. If The Game meant as a diss, Kendrick already knows. If it was a misunderstanding, Kendrick likely shrugged it off as fans doing what fans do. But here's the twist. Kendrick is entering a new era where every move is carefully coded. If he did feel slighted, he wouldn't respond with a tweet. He would respond with a bar, a visual clue, or a subtle shift in storytelling. That's what makes this so compelling. Kendrick responds in ways that spark movements. The truth is, we're at crossroads. If The Game really did take a subliminal jab, this could turn into a larger West Coast storyline. But if the bars were general commentary, the moment will fade, unless Kendrick chooses to elevate it. Here are the three most likely outcomes. 1. The Game denies the diss, which he has done before in similar situations. 2. Kendrick ignores the entire situation, the most likely scenario. 3. The Game leans into the ambiguity, adding even more fuel to fan theories. But there is one more possibility nobody has considered. What if this entire situation is a misunderstanding? What if The Game wasn't talking about Kendrick at all? What if the bars were aimed at someone else entirely? Maybe another rapper, maybe a new generation artist, or maybe no one specific. Hip-hop culture sometimes creates drama where none exists. And with Kendrick dominating everything right now, fans are quick to attach his name to anything that sounds even remotely spicy. At the end of the day, the truth is simple. No one knows for sure, except The Game himself. And until he confirms or denies it, the mystery only grows. Fans will keep dissecting every lyric. Theories will keep growing. Analysts will keep speculating. And Kendrick, he will keep moving like nothing phases him. Whether this was a diss, a misunderstanding, or just clever wordplay, one thing is clear. The West Coast is buzzing again, and the culture is watching. Thanks for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And as always, stay active.